Ryan with Miss.Geek here, and it begins. Yes, that's right. The build of the QDX Revision 3, which is sitting here on my bench, all complete. No, just kidding. This is the V1 that went kaput on me. But I do have a Rev 3 here, and it is ready to go. And so am I. We are going to get started. Now, this is going to be a series of videos. However, it is going to be unlike my series of videos on the previous QDX that I already built and did videos about. I'm going to be building it in real time. That means I'm going to be installing all the components, winding all the toroids, and doing all the needfuls live. Well, live in the sense that I'm not editing. I'm just basically doing continuous video until I get parts done. I don't know how long these are going to take now, or how long the project's going to take. I'm not in a hurry. But I'm not gonna bore you with like some of the worst stuff. But I want you to see what it's like to really build one of these and show you that you can do this. You can have the confidence to just do it. So let me show you first what I'm working with, so that there's no mystery about, ooh, Ryan's got such great equipment or spent thousands of dollars on soldering irons. No. Let's take a look. All right, so first thing first, QDX digital transceiver. I've got this thing. I've got these things, tweezers. Those are really super helpful. I've got a spare piece of solder, but I have more than that. Here's the enclosure for it. There's the battery to my weed whacker, not important. My QRP Labs mug, which may serve as inspiration. My, I think, $20 or so with a kit and everything else. Soldering iron with adjustable temperature that who knows if it's accurate. I've got solder. I've got a thing that holds it all together. This is a water cup or water bottle cut and then hot glued to this, and then that's steel wool. Nothing impressive there. Over here I have a laptop computer running Linux. Because this laptop can barely run Windows, and I didn't want to install a license for it. So I'm at step 2.4, install all the trimmer ceramic capacitors rather. Helping me out with illumination is my this guy here, illumination and also magnification, and that just mounts to my desk here. And then above I've got my bench topper thingy that I use, and then I've got this, and this is a homemade mount for this, the phone. And by the way, this is a Pixel 4a 5G that I use for everything. So this is a basic piece of I think it's 1-inch tubing that is held up with magnets, and then this is a piece of corrugated plastic and some zip ties and some a Velcro wire tie. So it's all just kind of hacked together. Very hacky, the way we love it, right? So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started now. So the first thing is we're going to install all the trimmer capacitors. So we're already 2 minutes into this video at this point. Actually, we're more than that. We're several minutes into this video at this point. So I'm going to try to keep these videos about 20 minutes. And so, but I'm gonna work really hard not to edit anything out. You're gonna hear me going, you're gonna be hearing all the stupid stuff that I'm just not gonna edit out. This is the real thing. This is not, YouTube magic to do this. This is just a guy sitting down at a desk and working on it. Yes, I call it my ham shack or whatever you want to call it. My mess, my disaster area, danger zone, whatever you want to call it. It is what it is, and it's all mine. And these marks here are so that I can line up the phone, so I have a defined area to work, so that I'm not working outside of that. And I'm going to be using this like so a lot to do these things. So I'm going to tin my soldering iron, set up the phone. Let's get started. Okay, so I did lie. There was one other thing I had to do, which was get my pair of flush cutters here, because those are super important. They were out in my other workshop where I work on automotive things, because I was doing a bunch of work to my truck. So I've got the case here. I'm not going to bother opening that for now. And let's just go ahead and dive in and get all the ceramic capacitors installed. So let's see, it looks like they're all in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull these out, and let's see if I've got my borders set up correctly. Yeah, I do. Okay, good. All right. Now, I don't need everything in here, so I'm just getting out what I need. So this is what I use the tweezers for, guys. A lot of times is picking parts. And of course, got to open the PCB. I'm just going to go down the list. So it says that the 470 PFs labeled 471 go into C5 and C14. So first thing I'm going to do is identify C5 and C14 using the magnifier. It's probably shown. Oh yeah, it is shown me. Well, it's shown perfectly on the in the manual. Maybe I'll edit in a picture of the manual here so you see what I'm looking at. But I'd recommend, if you're following along, follow along with the manual. So C5 and C14 are going to be C5, and clearly this one is C14 based on that. So yeah, right. Yeah. So those are the ones labeled 471. And some of these are kind of hard to read, guys. And they take a bit of extra work. So I'm doing that here right now. And sometimes what I do is I have an extra magnifier somewhere around here. But I also have this. This is an old Canon PowerShot. And I have been known to take this and zoom way the heck in. I gotta put it in macro mode though. And I don't want the flash. All right, now go to review mode and zoom in, and I do believe those say, looks like 621 maybe. I can't really tell, or maybe 821. Yeah, that's 821. So what I'm going to do now is, to save myself the time later, I'm just going to mark this. Oops, sorry about that. Going to mark this 821. All right, so let's see if we can find the 471s now. And I'll tell you what, this is actually pretty hard. Oh, here it is. I've got this magnifier that came from my helping hands. Sometimes I'll combine that with my lit magnifier. Let's see if I can show you, like so. And these are indeed 471. Beautiful. So you can either cut these out or you can pull them out. And I prefer to just cut them out most of the time. So 471 in C14. And what I do is put it through and then just widen it so it doesn't fall out. And then in C5, again, based on the diagram on there, put you in there, sorry. C5, C14, that's 471. So I'm just gonna splay these out so they don't go anywhere. And then I'm going to, well, it means we'll grab these 821s. There's no reason I shouldn't. So we'll just grab these. That's probably what we're gonna end up doing, is just identifying them and then putting them straight in. So this 821 here and the one in my hand, I'm going to double check that. That's something I want to get wrong here. Here, I'm going to pull this into myself here. I gotta. This is tough, guys. This is one of the harder parts of it, frankly. Yeah, it's definitely 821. Okay. So 821 goes here. And the other 821 goes here. Okay. Now let's identify another one. Let's grab this stray here and figure out what he is. Again, using the magnifier plus my magnifier, my lit magnifier, I mean. And my glasses. I'm trying to take my glasses off and see if that helps. Yeah, this is this is not that easy, unfortunately. I wish these were worked better. All right, I'm gonna get out the power shot one more time here. Well, probably not the last time, actually. So let's zoom it on. Let's hit macro. It's not working out. Let's make sure. It's hard to get the lighting that you need and get the shot. And then review it. Oh yeah, see, now this time it worked out really nice. It says very clearly, I hope you can see that. If you can see that, it says real clearly 620. So there's one 620 in here somewhere. I believe that's what it says. Yeah, 620. It might be 820 now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, it's 820 because there's no 620 on the layout. So I'll take this 820 and put it where it goes, which is C11 right here. Like I said, no YouTube magic here, just honest work. And I mean, not, I mean, like anybody is dishonest, but just really doing my best to show you exactly what my process is here. All right, macro. Try it sideways here. It's going to give me a better angle. By the way, if you're wondering, oh, of course, Ryan's got a power shot, lucky him. Dude, I bought this for like, I don't know, $7 or $8 at a Goodwill. I've got one for sale right now for like $15, I think. I'm probably gonna end up keeping. So this one's 101. So this 101 goes right here. Anyway, you can find these power shots all day. And this one, this particular one's an A700, which is one from like, I don't know, 2011 or 2012. It takes double A's, which I have a million of, and it works really well. I love Canon power shots. I've even got other videos about them on my channel. All right, one more of these blue. These blue ones are the hardest ones. So let's get our picture here. Okay, and that one is clearly 122. Hopefully you can see that properly. It says 122. All right, so man, I love that thing. Best magnifier a guy can have. Okay, 122, and 122 goes in C12, which is right here. You notice I don't give a look about the values themselves. I'm not here to. I'm basically doing paint by numbers. I'm not doing electrical engineering. That's one of the things that's beautiful about the QRP Labs kits is that you can paint by numbers. All right, so got this next one here. This one is, get my glasses back on and I can probably see it. It's just the other ones, there's really not a lot of contrast, so it's real hard. This one's 221. So that was a lot easier. So 221 goes right here. That's C30. And again, splay these out a little bit, not a whole lot, just enough. And get this other stray going here. What's this one? This one is 220. So 220 goes here. Yeah, I'm totally using my magnifier off camera to do this, by the way, just so you know. Okay, next. We've got one more, two more strays. Nice home strays, loners, I should say. 300, which, dropping things here, goes there. Great. Get that in, yep. And this next loner is really tiny. I'll do the double magnification thing here. 181. So 181, yep, we do have a single 181 on the list. And that is going to be C20 right here. Right there. Try to key in there. Okay. Now, what else have we? Oh, we have one more loner. This one is very clearly 271. You can almost read that without a magnifier. If you have good eyes, you could. So what did I say that was? 271. So 271 is C7, which goes right here, right? Yeah. It says there's C7. So there's C7. Display that. Great. And now we have a couple of doubles. So these are 56J. So we have two 56Js. So we'll trim those off of their card. The first one goes here at C28. Put it in. Splay it out. Next one is C10, which is right here. Put it in, splay it out. And this one, I could probably go by process elimination. This is 391, but we'll look at this, look at the diagram given here. Okay, I'm on page 13 of well, my PDF reader says page 13 of the manual, and yeah, page 13 of the manual is where I'm looking. So what I see is we're 391. So 391 goes here in C19. Okay, there's that. And the only other spot open is this one, and that is where it goes. So there we go. Don't mind that clinking sound. That's my messenger, my instant messenger from work. Yeah, I work from home. I'm not working right now, but you know, I didn't turn off the notifications, and so I get dinged to death. No big deal. Okay. And if you notice me having a lot of problems getting that one in there, it's because my hands are going numb. All right. So that's all those. That's literally all the capacitors. Now, of course, they're installed, but they're not installed. They've got to be soldered in. So to do that, this is the part that I have a lot of fun with, and we just go on a solder fest here. So what I do is I'm grabbing a fairly long piece of solder. I've got this, let's see, there we go. I got this pretty long piece here. I like to just tear off a piece or burn off a piece. And then I make sure my soldering iron is, see, I think it's a little bit on the hot side here. Turn it down just a little bit. Try to get it tinned as much as possible. And this thing is not the greatest. These tips are not the greatest, but they are sufficient. I probably have it too hot to hold a good tinning right now, unfortunately. All right, we're at 17 minutes here. Let's get this wrapped up. I want to have this step done, and then we'll call this one quits here. So just bear with me. All right, so the way I go about this is I try not to put in too much heat in the board in one place at a time, okay? So I'm going to move around a bit. 1, 2, and let's see, I'm just counting to see how long it takes that to flow. Okay. Not doing a great job of that, but you get the idea. Actually, I'm not worried about overheating the board. It's just, in fact, it kind of getting the board warm is part of the equation. You know, you're soldering to the board, right? So it's not just getting the lead warm. You've got to get the board warm too. So sometimes getting all in one area makes it easier to get the board warm, so that you don't have to individually heat things up quite as much. The whole board gets warm in that area. All right, so I'm going to stop there for just a second and just get a close look at my solders. And they all look okay. I don't see any issues. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim those now. And you could probably trim them all at once, but I just grab them individually. And there we go. So those 4 are done. And then we'll move on a little bit. And I'm just going to wring my hands out here because my hands are definitely feeling pretty tired. This is what it's like being in your 40s. All right, now I'll just hit some more here. goes. There we go. I think that's okay. See, and this one went a lot faster because I've got the board warmed up in that section. And you've got to be really careful not to touch any of the other components, any of these surface mount components, because they will come up fairly easily. I mean, they're not super easy to get up. You have to, hit all sides of them and everything, but, you got to be careful. Mindful, really. It's not to be scared of it, just be mindful of it. Anytime I go to a new section of the board, I need to actually give it a little bit longer to warm up. The board does dissipate a lot of heat, so that makes a difference. All right. One more, I think. Oh, I see more wiggling here. Got more yet. It looks like I've got 2 more capacitors. Okay, now I'm gonna go back. This one does not look good at all. All right, so now before I even cut any of them off, I'm going to visually inspect all my solders and make sure they look not horrible. Not aiming, oh, there's one I missed. Not aiming for perfection, and that's the thing. Don't let perfection be the enemy of progress. Just get them soldered. If you're worried about perfect solders, then you're just over worried. You want good solders. You want the solder. If you just hold this and I apply the solder to the lead, and I let the lead melt it, and then I make sure that it flows into the board. That's it. And if I'm not sure, then I add a little bit more. And if I add too much solder, oh no. But from the top, yeah, you can see I added too much solder on this one. And I probably could have pressed these down into the board further. Yep, could have done that. And yep, there's too much solder on that one. And you know what I say? I'll see you online. I'll see you on the air. That's what I say. I don't care. It's not going to get on the air any less or any more. We're building a functioning radio for the bench, not a museum piece. And I've actually talked to Hans about this subject of like soldering irons and stuff, and last time I chatted with him about that, He also is just using like a cheap little, $10 Chinese, knockoff or whatever. And they're good, but not great. But they're good enough. The whole point here is we're doing this stuff on a budget. Yeah, you can spend hundreds of dollars. And I even thought about buying, a nice soldering station. Yeah, because I like soldering. I enjoy this hobby a lot. And I wouldn't mind having something higher end. But then what are you guys going to think? You're going to think that to do this, you need those things. Well, no, you don't. You don't need them at all. Just like you don't need a $100,000 Jeep to go 4x4 in. You just need a vehicle that you don't mind beating up off-road. It doesn't even have to be a truck. It doesn't have to be four-wheel drive. You should see what guys are doing with two-wheel drive cars these days. Just because they're fearless. They're like, yeah, if I beat it up, I beat it up. Who cares? All right, so a couple of those aren't all that pretty, so I'm just going to reflow them real quick. This is my typical process, by the way. And that one is just not enough solder. Maybe that one. Yeah, that one's just not enough, so I'm going to redo that one. Here, added some solder to that. Okay, and all right, got that, and I don't see any others that are just a plain missing solder. It's important to look at it from several angles because I have had ones that were completely bad, and I just missed it because the angle was wrong. So, a couple of these are still a little bit on the long side, so I'm gonna grab the flush cutters and cut them more flush. Especially ones like this one where it could point at another pad. Of course, those pads are connected anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, looks good. All right, done. So, all right, this is longer than I expected it would be. This segment was 28 minutes. So to install capacitors, $28 minutes. Done. Now the next step is to install the 1N4007 diodes, and there are only 6 of those. So why don't we just do them real quick? It'll only take a minute. We're already here. And they're in this bag. Again, this is where tweezers come in super duper handy. So there's one wonderful diode, 2 wonderful diodes. 3 wonderful diodes. 4 wonderful diodes. 5 wonderful diodes. And 6 wonderful diodes. All right. All right, so the directions and the they're clearly marked here where the white band is. So this is going to be super easy. So I'm doing it now. It'll only take a couple of minutes. So what I like to do is I just take the diode in my tweezers and bend. And then pop it in. Bam. And then I can just flay these out a little bit, just as I did the caps. So same thing here. I try to keep these kind of straight because it makes it easier to put them in. So put those down. Let's see if I can't just finagle that in there. Yeah. If you want, you can pull on these too, and they'll kind of suck down tighter to the board. So you get there's not a huge gap there. Like not that it matters, just preference, I guess. And number 3, well, it's technically D4. Doing them in reverse order, like it matters. Okay, get that down in there and flay these out. Pick up this one, flip it over so that the band is facing the right direction, and install it. And that one, of course, the last one, there we go. Being a little more difficult, mostly because my hand is going numb. All right, so let's make sure we have the white bands all going the correct direction. We do. Flip it on over. Stretch out the fingertips. Get the phalanges, have some blood moving through them. And then solder it up. And these ones I want to make sure I do correctly. Again, always check your lighting and make sure you know exactly what you're doing. What I'm going to do is bend these ones in rather than out. Okay. All right, I think that did it. And check them out. Looks good so far. Yep, got them all. So now let's trim them up. Clearly got way too much solder on that capacitor right there. That's all right. As long as we don't have any solder bridges, it don't matter. And a solder bridge is when you have two components that are joined by solder, but aren't joined by a component or by a trace on the board. Those are undesirable. In other words, make sure you don't have any solder bridges, because then the electricity goes places you don't want it to go. And depending on how powerful that electricity is, that can be very, very, very bad. All right, and this is looking pretty good. We're at minute 35, so this is gonna be the longest of this series. So it took 7 minutes to install those. So we'll say diodes. We're gonna say that was 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Yeah, there we go. So the next step is the 47 microhenry conductors. And man, that's just so easy. So if you want to watch that happen, continue watching it, because I'm just going to do it. I know some of you have said you don't want to watch longer videos, and I can appreciate that. But if you're getting this far, you can see how it is. You just kind of, all of a sudden you dive in and there you are. Before you know it, you've already gotten so far with it. So these go, looks like, yeah, here, because this is the pad for this inductor. So here, here, let me pull this up here. It goes here to here, here, and here. But we're going to set up for the next video. If you made it this far, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. And in the next video, we're going to install inductors. See you then.